and prey on certain things just because I'm a man.
Right.
And
but not all men do that. We don't want to blanket
all
men.
And all
I was
men
do not prey and manipulate. Not all men.
First of all humans prey and manipulate, but in a man in a relationship,
not in a praying way.
If I see that I can say, okay, I feel like I need this and this person has this, I'm gonna do and say whatever I need to do to get that.
But Nick, again, law of attraction. We attract who we are despite of who we think we are. You used the word, you said women who are equally yoked to you.
Yeah.
Equally yoked comes in many different facets.
100%. Balance, if anything.
They have been equally yoked to your low functioning dysfunction that you have learned to survive in.
Because I use my tools to, because first of all, you're acting as if I'm entering every scenario with the full me, and we all, every time someone meets someone, you're meeting their representative. I know how to turn on the perfect man.
Depending
on the person, therefore, I may have manipulated a situation, and therefore, so it's to no discredit to anyone else, but I've come into every situation. I can be God-fearing, celibate, the one that you want. I can tell you everything that you want in a man and show you that. I can open the doors, lay down the cloak, send the jet, do it all to be like, oh my goodness, I've never, and then Toxic Nick shows up, and you like, this motherfucker got me.
No, but
he done gave me the draws, and I ain't heard from him in 3 weeks.
What you said is perfect. No, what you said is perfect because you named all of the low-functioning, superficial things that a low-functioning woman would fall into.
Church,
women,
that ain't low-functioning.
Baby, any woman,
we going to see the Lord together.
Any woman or man,
or the mosque, wherever you want to go. I know them both.
Any person who's done the work, who gained a sense of self, who's worked on their pain pockets, who's worked on their trauma,
are still going to be vulnerable.
They're going to be vulnerable. They're going to be
vulnerable. And late at night when you're sleeping alone, you go, I wish I had a strong man to rub my back.
They're going to be imperfect, but that person would want a strong, healthy, functioning man, not a low-functioning man.
Sometimes a nigga with some good hands.
Not a low-functioning man, no. That's what I'm saying is the difference. But
every woman, you can't, Doc, you can't sit here and say that.
But you're speaking from your experience, which makes it better.
I'm saying,
because your experience of these women is that they fall short for a jet and a good meal and a good man who says he goes to church.
And some strong hands.
And let me go further, and probably a big penis. But okay,
you said it, not me.
Let me go. But again, a high functioning. I'm not even talking about value. A high functioning woman who's done the work.
I'm trying to hear what this high functioning woman is.
But a high functioning woman, you cannot send a jet and be toxic, and she will go on the
She don't know I'm toxic yet.
A high-functioning woman wouldn't even attract you, baby. Because it's law of attraction. Stick with me. Just stick with me.
Please explain this high-functioning woman.
Regulate your emotions and stick with me. Regulate your emotions and stick with me.
I'm trying to hear you.
Listen, what is law of attraction? We attract who we are despite who we think we are.
Absolutely.
Think we are.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a high-functioning woman is not going to attract by default. By her calibration, she's not attracting a man who is not perfect. The man has got all kinds of mess. So does she. But when it comes to the level of her calibration and functioning and mental health and doing the work, she's going to attract that at which she is, that at what she leads with. So let me say this. Do I get on private jets that I pay for myself? Absolutely. Have I had a man do a wonderful, beautiful things for me? Absolutely. Have I had rocks and this and called off weddings? Of course. But let me say this. Prior to me doing the work and being a high-functioning woman, I attracted low-functioning men. Hold on.
You're saying you're a high-functioning woman who attracted low-functioning men?
No, it's not what I said. I said prior to me doing the work and becoming a high-functioning woman, my low-functioning self attracted low-functioning men. Hold on. You know why I attracted them? Because I needed low-functioning to feed low-functioning. Okay, hold on. A low-functioning man cannot feed a high-functioning woman, and a low-functioning woman can't feed a high-functioning man. And so what I'm telling you is there is no equally yoked there.
Well, she told him.
I mean, that's a fact.
Mic drop. That's it. Nothing else to be said.
But he knows that. And I mean, he knows that. I personally think with Nick Cannon, man, there's like a funny caveat because culturally, like Nick Cannon is smart. Nick Cannon is hardworking. You know, he has put in the work in this industry to build himself an empire. While everybody was laughing at him and calling him corny and, you know, not really having interest in his music, he was building a great infrastructure for himself. I feel like he's always had an appetite to be accepted by the culture as not corny, which the culture has always called them corny, which, I think that's corny, but regardless, what people call you affects you. I've always felt like him doing this, impregnating multiple women, I felt like that was his way of having the culture speak of him differently, because now you call him corny. Oh, well, he got babies with Mariah, he got 12, 13 babies. He got another one on the way. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that was his way internally of offsetting, because he knows that the culture would never. So that he just wanted another narrative for himself. And I felt like it was just the wrong narrative.
Sweeney, I'll come back to Sweeney. Get his head. I don't know what he's thinking, but go ahead, One Country.
I mean, he got all these babies and he's creating this narrative, but for me, it's like he has babies with who? Okay, Mariah Carey. I get that. She slipped and bumped her head or whatever.
You low
But
functioning too.
she's low function. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Money don't make you high functioning. And I think that's what people fail to realize. Whether his structure is tight or whatever he got going for himself, it does not make you high functioning. High functioning is a state of being in a mindset. It's not necessarily always a physical attribute, and I think that's what people forget. But just like I said with Cam, these women keep giving Nick Cannon babies knowing Nick Cannon don't want to be married. But that takes a very low functioning woman to do that. Like your baby mama number 12, ma'am, and you're okay with that because it's Nick Cannon, the gigolo with a lot of dough. Like, I don't. It's so stupid. And the way he sat there all smug and cocky about it while the doctor was trying to explain to him, yeah, you might have all these hoes, literal hoes and gold diggers, but do you want something more? He can't pull anything more because he's low functioning, because he thinks what he's doing is okay. And that goes both ways. Low functioning females, stay out the dating pool with us high functioning women. You just in the way. Thought I'd throw that in there.
And that's poverty. Like, a lot of these situations is poverty, and poverty of the mind. You know what I mean? Like, I sent you some, Jill.
All right, go ahead, Shan.
All right, so they remind me of each other, Cam and Nick. So it kind of goes with both. I think that we are assuming that most people have morals. Most people are raised the same type of way, and most people follow the same thing that we all follow, right? We want people to do right. But Nick may have been married and realized he ain't the husband type. He didn't like the husband role, but he liked the kids. Okay. So he wants the kids, but he don't necessarily want to be a husband. So he's found women who maybe like being moms, but they don't necessarily like the role of being a wife. Because, those are not necessarily the same roles, right? And they found each other. Now, is it right? Absolutely not. Do the kids suffer? We know that they do. But there again, we're assuming that people read the literature on how well kids do in a two-parent household. We're assuming that they have knowledge of this before they make the decisions that they make. We will want them to, but and even maybe we didn't even know before the internet, YouTube came about. I think YouTube has opened this space up. People are starting to learn things that they didn't know. They're starting to research a little bit more. Because I would say that I would have made half the decisions I made had I been, on this podcast or even in the YouTube world. So again, this is all, there's a lot of assumptions here. Unfortunately, when people make decisions, they don't think about the kids. They think, okay, as long as my kids are in a loving household, and they have all these things provided for them, they'll be fine. They're not looking at the psychological aspect of it, right? because most people don't seek out a psychologist before they have children, or they don't look at the research before they have kids. Now, we know in the past when marriages get together, the kid, we see it, but just because we see it and it looks so great, that's not everybody's goal. Some people don't want to be like that. Some people have different personalities. Like, I don't know if I want to wake up to you every day. And that's what's happening here. I think that to sum it up, I think he was in a situation where he was married. I think during that situation, he realized, I love being a father. I don't necessarily love being a husband. Now, is it right? That's up for the individual person. For me, I wouldn't choose, if I can go back, I wouldn't choose that route. But that's probably what he's learned from him being married. And I've heard of several men in real life who said things of that nature. Same thing with Cam. He may be like, you know what? I don't mind being a daddy, but I want to be the daddy who can come when he want to come. I'll give them the money. I want to make sure they doing right, but I don't necessarily want to live with them. So as we know, living with kids is a totally different situation than just coming over when you want to and you just walk out. So these are all the things, and again, it has nothing to do with being right or wrong, but just look at it from, their standpoint. I think we in the United States, we have done this thing. Well, not the United States, but I think it's a Western thing. We're moving towards. Everybody's out for the individual. People are very selfish nowadays. It's about me, my life, me having fun. Oh, they'll turn out okay. It may not be the best situation, but it ain't bad either. I mean, I know people who were raised by single moms. They turned out to be pretty good people. He himself would, but like he probably was like, I was raised by a single mom. I turned out fine. So it's just so much. It's so loaded, and ideally, it will be great for both of them. But most of us don't do things in the ideal manner. Ideally, we should not be having sex before marriage. But guess what? I'm pretty sure everybody on this panel has some of this, but anyway, you understand? Does that make sense? We don't always do things we're supposed to do.
Right.
And unfortunately, this looks very tacky, and you're idols to people. And it's like, come on, we need you to live up to the expectation of what is right. And they just not willing to do that.
Come on.
I don't think he had a problem with being a husband. I think he had a problem with being the broke one in the relationship.
You think so?
Absolutely. I think, being with Mariah, I feel like she had the bigger bag, so everything was on her terms. You know what I mean? I bet you the sex was even scheduled. You know what I'm saying? She'd be laying up there like looking at her watch, like, okay, enter me. Yeah. All right, we're done here. I gotta go practice. Like, she got that money, so she's used to this lifestyle. Like, I get what I want when you either comply or you don't. And he realized the way he's operating, he probably got that from how she dealt with him. I don't need to be there for everything. I don't need to, be there for the kids. I've got great nannies. I've got good schools, but I want to have a lot of kids, but I don't want it in that situation. So let me be the one that's controlling the situation like I was controlled.
But Jay, real quick, how often does that happen in real life? Like let's take Nick out of the situation. Do we not see this play out a lot? People like, oh, I'm a great dad, but you see the kid, you're not in the household. You're not doing it every day, day to day. It's easier that way. You know what I'm saying? You may be a great father. You're active in your kid's life, but it's not going to be the same as both of y'all being in the household. This is not just a Nick, Candy, Cam. Maybe they don't do it to the extent like there's so many baby mamas, but it's still being played out, especially in our community, quite a lot. This is not, and most people are not married to Mariah Carey. None of them actually,